Now, excuse the we're in lockdown at the moment as I do this video, so you'll excuse the mad Einstein-looking hair because I'm waiting for a hairdresser to open. Excellent. So, when I talk to people about making money online, people like yourselves, they often tell me about. I ask them why they're interested in this in the first place, and they often tell me about they would love to start or at least consider starting an online business. Now, when I ask them more details about that, they tell me about one of the reasons why they want to do it is obviously because of this opportunity for growth, and not just a little bit of growth, but potentially massive amounts of growth. In 2020 at the moment, during lockdown, during coronavirus, you may have seen on some of the headlines, Amazon have recently taken over 100,000 extra staff on board just to cope with the extra demand. They found that even that wasn't enough. They had to go back and employ even more people. Wix, just one website builder, but a well-known website builder, is getting requests, over 70,000 requests a day to build a website. So new people wanting to tap into this opportunity at over 70,000 a day, and that's just one website provider. In addition to this, of course, one of the most attractive things is the freedom. The freedom and flexibility that comes with an online lifestyle, if you like, the laptop lifestyle. Again, whether that's growing your existing business or whether it's a side hustle or a secondary income that you want to just build up, not just once, but multiple times. However, one of the challenges with this, particularly if you're looking into this as a beginner or if you're new, is you're starting to think about or wondering, do some research online, but where do I start? Because there are a lot of good people out there, but there's also, excuse my French, there's a lot of crap people out there as well that either haven't been and done that themselves or are regurgitating just what they've heard online. So how do I start? If I'm going to put the time and effort in, how do I set myself up for success? Now, in addition to that, if you're anything like me, whether it's in lockdown or whether it's post-lockdown, you've also got a number of other areas that you need to keep on top of. And this is all your day-to-day stuff, all your current stuff. So whether that's your existing business, if you have an existing business, whether that's bricks and mortar, or whether it's your job, because you're thinking about doing this as a secondary income or a side hustle to supplement your job, or whether it's just family and friends. In order to create the time to do this, the time has got to come from somewhere else. And that's usually time that gets that's supposed to be an hourglass. And that's usually time that very often gets taken away from your loved ones or gets taken away from your existing business or your existing money earning income areas. So if you do it, and if you're going to commit to it, you want something that's going to deliver a return for you, return on investment or a return on the income and the effort that you put in it. There's also, I mentioned previously, there's a number of, when you start doing research online, and if you're like me, you've probably bought a number of them already. Certainly I started this way. There's a number of shiny objects out there. So the number of things that are promising, press this button and overnight a business pops up, or press this button overnight, bajing, you start creating euros or dollars or pounds. But we know it's just not as easy as that. And as this continues to move and as this continues to shift, the balance for you, particularly if you're going to commit to this and do this well, it creates a pressure and a tension that lies firmly on your shoulders because you've got to manage this and manage the expectations of the people around you. In addition to that, once you find something good, you need to have some sort of plan or at least a roadmap or a recipe of something that you can follow. And as part of that recipe, you need to know, first of all, right, what am I going to sell? What's going to convert somebody online to actually want to part with their money, to want to invest their money? Now that could be, it could be a digital product. So it could be a little bit like online training like I'm doing with this YouTube video at the moment. Or it could be e-commerce. That's how I got started with e-commerce online. But there are a number of pitfalls and there's a lot of cash flow associated with getting e-commerce and doing that well. Or it could be starting through affiliate marketing. So you test your system by selling somebody else's product that's already there and available. So you just see whether this whole thing works. And later on, I've got a specific video that will go through some of those options and I'll certainly give my recommendations. as well as having something to sell, a product or a service that's going to create cash for you, vital important part of the recipe, you also need traffic. You need a constant ongoing stream of traffic. So a source of customers who are interested, who want to buy whatever you're selling, who see the value in what you're selling, your product or your service, and are willing to exchange some cash or some dollars, whether that's a one-off or whether that's ongoing. Now, with traffic can change as well. And we know that if you're going down the route of YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest, whatever it might well be, solo ads, you only need a traffic plan that works now, but you also need a traffic plan that's going to work also in the future. Now, in addition to that, if you're doing this and you're setting this up, not just in the short term, but in the long term, you ideally want something that's also going to build a list, an email list of customers. So not just getting them into the funnel once and sell them something once, you keep adding and creating value for them, hopefully like this video, so they want to come back and watch more videos or buy more things from you or have more interest. So how do you set this up in a way that also helps you long-term buy a list? Well, also there's flexibility in that plan. So who knows exactly what the future is going to hold or what happens with Google or with Facebook or with all the others. So your plan is flexible and it can adapt. Now, with the speed of change in the industry, what's worse is you get excited about this, the opportunities. You might find somebody that you like that helps you tap into this opportunity. But what's worse is the perception of whether it's your spouse, whether it's your family, your kids, or your business partner. There's a perception out there from others that when you do this, you can do this and just flip it on almost like it's a flick of a switch. But we know, if you've done a little bit of research or a lot of research, actually, it's much more complicated than that. Frank Kern draws the analogy of starting an online business, like starting any business, is a little bit like having a baby. The time and effort and focus that it needs at the start can be massive. And the flip side of that is the benefit, if you can put the time and effort in here at the start, then the opportunities for gaining ongoing income from your recurring income for the future are potentially also massive. But you have to put the time and effort in at the start. So in my experience, in order to make this work, there's three main barriers that you've got to overcome to make this successful. And in my experience, those three main barriers are, first and foremost, you've got to find a mentor or a coach. And ideally, a trusted mentor or a coach. So somebody not only knows their stuff, who has been there and done it, but also somebody who's a good teacher who can put those ideas across so you get it, you understand it, you can take action on it. But also somebody who's been able to do that with their students, with other people. So you know that they don't just mad scientists, they can do it themselves, but they can pass on that advice and teach it so that others can get similar or potentially even better results. The second one is, depending on where you're at, actually it should also be something that, based on where you're at now, it should be something that's affordable. And particularly if there's any tech involved with it, that tech should be user-friendly. So if you need tech to be able to set up these things as an automated process, depending on how tech savvy you are or not, and I'm a good user, but I'm not particularly tech savvy, and however you pick as a trusted mentor or that plan or that program or that recipe, can they take it in a step-by-step approach so you can copy and model what they're doing so you can get similar results to what they're doing. And lastly, that builds me off the last one, you want somebody who has a proven system. So that system, once that is set up, it might take time and effort to do it at the start on the setup, but that once it is set up, it can work on its own. It can work 24/7 for you. It can be selling for you whilst you're sleeping. It can work across multiple countries around the globe. So it can keep driving that recurring income for you. So is this sounding familiar? Now, there's a lot of balls to juggle here. It's not that easy, but what if, just imagine for a moment, what if you could, if there was a way to help break through some of these barriers, if you could find a trusted mentor that is trusted, that does know what they're talking about, who's been there and done that, the results that you want, but you could also do it in a staged approach. So you could do it at a time and a pace that's right for you, depending on how much time that you've got and how much money you're willing to invest at the start. Whether that's a small amount and you do it little by little, or whether it's a big amount and you want to accelerate it. And imagine if you could tap into somebody who has that plan, who has that proven system, and on a step-by-step, on a piece-by-piece basis, you can tap into some of that. So that helps you start to grow, alleviate some of the pressures on your day-to-day, and helps you bring some of that plan, that recipe, that system that works, and could start doing that in a methodical step-by-step basis. And what if, last but not least, you could work with somebody or an organization that has the flexibility and the agility, so if things change up here, or if Google changes, or if Facebook changes, they can flex and adapt as well. So you can set up this system that works for you. So instead of you being unsure about where you are now and what to do, actually, it gives you an approach that shows it's making a return, that proves proof of concept, that shows you that it's working, so that as and when you're ready for it, or you've got the money to, you can start scaling that so it starts delivering for you even faster, even longer. And this is what I'm going to go into in more detail on some of the next videos. Particularly the next video will lay out a plan here, a template for you, so you can at least have a recipe that outlines, so you can set yourself up out of the gate in the right way to get going and to get started. So if you've liked this, please drop in the comments below, are there any of these areas that either resonate with you or that you'd like me to dive into in more detail on to help you understand this better before you get started. Please do subscribe to the channel, hit the red button, subscribe below, hit the bell button, particularly share this with anybody else who might be interested in understanding this picture of either the journey you're going through or that might be of interest to them. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.